Have you ever wondered why some people become addicted to pornography? It's a question that's often met with silence or discomfort, as pornography addiction remains a largely unspoken issue. Yet, it's a reality for many, and understanding the root causes is essential. This video aims to break down the silence and discuss the 5 core reasons that contribute to pornography addiction, reasons that often go unspoken in our society. Today, we will delve into the science behind this addiction and uncover the reasons that often go unspoken. Let's start our journey with dopamine, the pleasure and reward neurotransmitter. Dopamine is a fascinating chemical that our brains produce. It's often thought of as the feel-good neurotransmitter because it's intimately involved with our ability to feel pleasure and reward. But what does this have to do with pornography addiction? Well, when we consume pornography, our brains are flooded with dopamine. This dopamine rush creates a strong link between the act of viewing pornography and the pleasurable feelings it produces. Over time, this connection becomes stronger and stronger, to the point where the brain starts craving for that dopamine rush, just like a moth drawn to a flame. Now, dopamine isn't inherently bad. In fact, it's crucial for our survival. It motivates us to seek out and engage in activities that meet our basic needs, like eating and sleeping. But when it comes to pornography, this natural mechanism can be hijacked. The brain begins to associate pornography with a need that must be fulfilled, just like hunger or thirst. This is where things get tricky. Because the brain is wired to seek out these dopamine-rich experiences, it can lead us down a path of compulsive consumption. We're not just talking about a casual viewing of pornography here and there. We're talking about a habit that can spiral out of control, leading to hours spent in front of the screen, neglecting other aspects of life. And here's the kicker. The more often we consume pornography, the more desensitized we become to it. This means we need to consume more or more intense forms of pornography to achieve the same dopamine high. It's a vicious cycle that can be incredibly difficult to break. So the pleasure and reward sensation we get from dopamine is one of the main reasons for pornography addiction. It's not just about the content of the pornography itself, but how our brains respond to it. The dopamine rush, the pleasure, the reward, it all combines to create a potent mix that can lead to addiction. Moving on, let's talk about oxytocin, the love and bonding neurotransmitter. Oxytocin is often referred to as the love hormone because it is released when people cuddle or bond socially. It helps to deepen feelings of attachment and intensifies the sense of contentment and security within relationships. But what happens when this hormone gets mixed up in the world of pornography? In the context of pornography consumption, oxytocin is still released. The brain doesn't discriminate between a real-life partner and a two-dimensional image on a screen. It still recognizes the sexual stimulus and responds accordingly. This means that when you're watching pornography, oxytocin is still doing its job, trying to bond you to what you're seeing, creating a sense of attachment. Now you might think, well, that's not so bad, is it? It's just a hormone doing its job. But here's where the problem lies. Oxytocin is trying to bond you to a fantasy. It's creating a connection to something that doesn't exist in reality. This can lead to unrealistic expectations about sex and relationships, and can cause difficulties in forming healthy real-life bonds. Moreover, the repeated release of oxytocin during pornography consumption can contribute to the development of addiction. Each time oxytocin is released, it reinforces the bond with the pornography, making it harder to break free. It's like adding a new layer of glue each time you watch, making the bond stronger and stronger. This is why it can be so challenging to break a pornography habit. It's not just about willpower or moral strength. It's about breaking a chemical bond that's been reinforced over time. Understanding the role of oxytocin in pornography addiction can help highlight the complexity of this issue and underscore the need for compassion and understanding in addressing it. Therefore, oxytocin, which is responsible for feelings of love and bonding, plays a significant role in pornography addiction. Next, we have noradrenaline, the neurotransmitter related to arousal and attention. Let's dive into the fascinating world of neurochemistry, shall we? Noradrenaline, also known as norepinephrine, is a chemical messenger that plays a crucial role in our brains. It's primarily associated with our body's fight or flight response, but it's also intricately linked to our attention and arousal mechanisms. Now imagine this scenario. You're watching pornography, your heart rate increases, your pupils dilate, and your focus narrows down to the content on the screen. All of these responses are largely mediated by noradrenaline. It sharpens your attention, heightens your arousal, and enhances your overall sensory experience. It's almost like your brain is on high alert, fully engaged in the task at hand. But how does this contribute to addiction? Well, the answer lies in the brain's reward system. When you're engaged in an activity that your brain perceives as pleasurable, such as watching pornography, it releases a cocktail of neurotransmitters. Noradrenaline, being one of them, amplifies the pleasure signals, making the experience more intense and exciting. The brain, being the smart organ it is, remembers this experience and craves for it again. And so the next time you're bored or stressed, your brain nudges you towards that quick fix of pleasure. That's where the addictive cycle begins. The more you give in to these cravings, the more your brain gets wired to seek out and indulge in these activities, creating a strong neural pathway. And before you know it, you're caught up in the whirlwind of addiction, with noradrenaline playing a significant role in maintaining this cycle. It's important to note that noradrenaline, like all neurotransmitters, isn't inherently bad. It's a vital part of our brain's functioning. But when misused or overly stimulated, it can contribute to unhealthy patterns of behavior, such as pornography addiction. So the arousal and attention that noradrenaline provides is another key reason for pornography addiction. Now, let's discuss serotonin, the neurotransmitter associated with mood and sleep. Serotonin is a fascinating neurotransmitter. It's often referred to as the feel-good chemical, playing a crucial role in maintaining our mood balance and regulating our sleep cycles. But what you might not know is that serotonin is also involved in the development of pornography addiction. When we engage in activities that are pleasurable, such as consuming pornography, our brain releases a surge of serotonin. This release of serotonin, much like the other neurotransmitters we've discussed, results in feelings of pleasure and satisfaction. It's a natural reward system, encouraging us to repeat behaviors that make us feel good. However, there's a dark side to this. As we continue to consume pornography, our brain begins to associate the release of serotonin with the activity. It creates a powerful link between the act of viewing pornography and the feeling of pleasure. Over time, this can lead to a craving for more, and a cycle of addiction begins to form. Furthermore, serotonin plays a significant role in regulating our sleep. When we consume pornography, particularly late at night, it can disrupt our sleep patterns. This disruption can lead to a range of problems, including fatigue, poor concentration, and mood swings, all of which can further feed into the cycle of addiction. But it doesn't stop there. As the addiction progresses, the brain starts to produce less serotonin in response to pornography. This can lead to feelings of restlessness, irritability, and even depression. The individual may then turn to pornography as a way to self-medicate, further reinforcing the addictive cycle. In a nutshell, serotonin, while essential for our well-being, can also play a significant role in the development of pornography addiction. It's a complex interplay of pleasure, reward, and dependency that can be challenging to break free from. Hence, serotonin, which regulates our mood and sleep, is also a contributing factor to pornography addiction. Finally, let's explore endorphins, the body's natural painkillers and relaxants. These are neurotransmitters that our brains produce in response to stress or discomfort. They operate much like opioids do, reducing pain and generating feelings of pleasure and satisfaction. When consuming pornography, the brain releases endorphins. This creates a sensation of pleasure and relaxation, which can be quite potent. Many people turn to pornography as a form of stress relief, seeking out the calming effects of endorphins. This immediate gratification can be very enticing, and it's easy to see how it could lead to a cycle of behavior that results in addiction. Endorphins also have a powerful effect on our mood and overall sense of well-being. They can create a sense of euphoria, making us feel happier and more positive. This can make pornography seem like an easy solution to feelings of stress, anxiety, or depression. However, the temporary relief provided by endorphins is just that, temporary. When the effects wear off, the negative feelings often return, leading to a desire for more endorphins and, consequently, more pornography. Therefore, the pain relief and relaxation provided by endorphins is the final reason we'll discuss today for pornography addiction. It's a complex issue with many contributing factors, but understanding the role of these neurotransmitters can provide valuable insight into its development. To sum up, the 5 core reasons of pornography addiction are the neurotransmitters dopamine, oxytocin, noradrenaline, serotonin, and endorphins. These 5 play a significant role in our emotional responses, creating a cycle of pleasure, reward, and attachment that fuels addiction. It's the surge of these neurotransmitters that makes pornography so irresistible to some, and understanding this can be a crucial part of the journey towards overcoming addiction. Understanding these reasons can be a significant step towards dealing with and overcoming pornography addiction. Thanks for watching.